Collabics encourages peer learning. Collabics eliminates free riding. Collabics reduces grading load. Collabics has all these advantages. Collabics has 3 deadlines: initial submission deadline and penalty for missing deadline, peer rating deadline and penalty for missing deadline, final submission deadline, time to share group wisdom. All the deadlines once more. At the Collabics.org website, log in to Collabics using your UUID and your university post office password. Once you are inside Collabics, click on the assignment button to submit your answers. You have only 15 minutes to complete your submission, so write and save your answer offline. Then copy and paste your answers into the text boxes. Submit. Double-check your answers. If you are satisfied, save your answers to the server. If your submission is successful, it should say Done here. You may log back in to edit your answers anytime before the submission deadline. 15 minutes after the initial submission deadline, you can log in to Collabics to rate your peers' submissions. The submissions are stacked in order of the submitter's serialized ID numbers. You are obviously member 3. Your first job is to identify the top-rated submission. No peer rating can be done until the top-rated submission is identified. Start with member 1. After reading each submission, enter your comments and suggestions for later reference. Go to member 2. Enter your comments. Go to your own submission. You cannot comment or rate your own submission. Go to member 4. Enter your comments. These are very good answers. Keep that in mind. Go to member 5. Enter your comments. After you have read all the submissions, you may select the top-rated submission. Rating should be cross-checked against your comments to ensure accuracy. Check your comments on member 4. That's right, these are very good answers. Member 4 should be top-rated. Keep in mind that the top-rated submission automatically carries 10 points. This score is unique and cannot be tied. Other scores could be tied if warranted. Once the top-rated submission is selected, you can score the other submissions. The scores of the other submissions should be relative to this top score. Check your comments on member 1. These are very poor answers. It is at most half as good as the top-rated submission, so you may give it a score of 5. Check your comments on member 2. These answers are about 70% as good as the top-rated submission. You may give it a score of 7. Check your comments on member 5. These answers are about 90% as good as the top-rated submission. You may give it a score of 9. When you are done with peer rating, submit your scores to the server. Double-check your scores against your comments. If everything looks okay, confirm your submission. If your submission is successful, it should say Done here. You cannot change your scores once submitted. After the peer ranking deadline is over, you may log in to Collabics to check which submission has been top ranked. Here you see that member 1 has been top ranked. You may go in and read member 1's submission again and offer your comments. The blue tab indicates that this is the top ranked submission. You may read through the submission once more to refresh your memory and read other members' comments. Here member 3 mentioned some misspellings but did not identify them. You want to identify them, so you edit a new comment. Save your comment to the server. Confirm it. If your submission is top ranked, you should wait until other members have a chance to comment on your submission. Then you may go in and read the comments and edit your submission. Here, member 3 and member 4 both mentioned some misspellings, and you want to edit these misspellings. Here is one. Here is the other. After you make the correction, you should tell your peers what changes you have made. When you are done editing your submission, you may save it to the server. You may go back to revise your revision any time before the instructor starts grading. After the final review is over, instructor grading begins. Click here to access the grading area. Clicking on the group link opens up the top ranked submission. If the top ranked submitter has revised her submission based on members' comments, more than one version tab would appear on the right. Clicking on the earlier version tab would reveal the members' comments. Grading is done on the final version. The instructor may comment on the answers as well as assigning grades. 100. 100. The top rank note indicates that the top rank submitter has appropriately responded to the comments. Clicking on the Submit button opens up the confirmation page. Note that the top rank does not always carry a 10 in a 1 to 10 rating scale, but the top rank is always normalized to 100% as a multiplier. It is quite possible that the top ranked submission may have the same average rank as some of his peers. In these cases, the submission sharing the same average rank but with the lowest standard deviation is chosen as the top rank. The average rank of other members will also be normalized relative to the top rank. Once the top rank submission is graded, the grades of the other members will be automatically calculated. based on the rank-based multipliers. If the bottom rank submission carries an extremely low rank, the instructor should make sure that the submission actually deserves the low rank. If it doesn't, two remedies are possible. First, put a lower bound to the absolute grade. This would adjust all the grades upward except the top grade. Second, the outlier submission could be graded individually after the group grade is completed. When everything looks okay, submit the score. In Group 3, there is one single tab, which indicates that no revision was made, even though there were specific comments. The top rank submission is graded as usual, 90%, 95%. Submit scores. Double check the low grade. The answer do deserve the low ranking. But let's put a lower bound of 60% there. And that would adjust all the grade upwards, except the top grade. Submit scores. All the scores are in there. But because the top rank submitter did not respond to members' helpful comment, he is subject to penalty. Grade as individual. Next. No feedback to members' comment. A penalty of 10%. Submit scores. Top rank submitter is subject to a 10% penalty. The rest of the members are not penalized. For members who submitted late, their submission would be graded as individuals. Next, subject to a 20% late penalty. This could be adjusted downward to take care of unusual circumstances. Submit scores. Here is the 10% penalty. Grades that are subject to penalty are marked by a star. Go back to the home page. The instructor controls when the grades are released by checking this mark. After instructor grading is done, you may go in to check your grade. This is your score. To compare your submission with the top rank submission, click on this assignment button. The top tab displays the final top rank submission. The middle tab displays the original top rank submission. The bottom tab displays your submission. You may look over the instructor's comments. At the bottom, you can compare the group score with your own score. Your score may be higher than what your multiplier would indicate due to lower bound grade adjustment. To summarize, if you are a student, there is no point to game Collabics. Collabics is good for you. If you are an instructor, there are no more excuses. To set up a group assignment, simply fill out the assignment details form. A long name, and a short name with no more than 4 characters. Collabics can be used for individual assignments if desired. The start date controls when the assignment is open for submission. Before the start date, the assignment questions and deadlines can be previewed by students. The initial submission deadline controls when initial submission would be closed, and the peer ranking start. There is a built-in 15-minute buffer. The peer ranking deadline controls when peer ranking would be closed and final review and submission start. The final submission deadline controls when final review would be closed and instructor grading start. The penalty for missing initial submission should be at least 20%. Because late submission would reduce group size below the viable level. This penalty could be waived at grading time. The penalty for missing peer ranking should be at least 10%. Because missing this deadline would reduce the reliability of peer ranking. This penalty could also be waived at grading time. Each assignment could have multiple versions, with different versions assigned randomly to different groups. Each version could have more than one section. If there is more than one version, each version could have the same or different sections. For example, each version might assign different readings, but the section might require answering the same set of general questions. To keep it simple, we will have only one version with 2 sections. Enter general instruction here. We'll give the sections different weight. Enter the first question here. Enter the second question here. Click Next to assign groups. Students are randomly assigned to different groups for each assignment, but some control can be exercised. For example, better performers can be spread out by seeding them to different groups. We will select 6 better performers as seeds. This one, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Some students could be excluded from groups if they consistently submit late or fail to rank their peers' submissions. For example, exclude this person and that person. We will not exclude anybody this time. Once these parameters are set, click here to choose group size. We will have 6 groups with 5 members each. The seats are indicated by blue. If this assignment looks okay, save it. The assignment setup is now completed. Click here to see how the assignment is listed. This is how the setup assignment is listed. To check the group membership, click here. To preview the dates and questions, click here. To delete the assignment, click here. To hide or unhide the assignment, click here. To edit the membership, the date, and the questions, click here. The current phase of the assignment is indicated by these color codes.